I hope no one else joins the class now. Okay. Evening, everybody. And I'm assuming if you are not here, you are hectically busy in your last week of teaching prac. And I hope to see you here in 2 weeks' time. You probably will be here because assessments will be due and you'll have questions, I hope. If you do have questions, please pop me a message or an email if you have questions about it. If you have missed the last few classes, we did cover the task two. I think 2 sessions ago we spoke to it. And then last session we had, I introduced some additional resources that could help you. They are available on ARC. I think they're in that same folder with task two, if I'm not mistaken. Um, and then just a gentle reminder that all ICE tasks are all available and they are due by the 29th of September. I'll put that in the announcement again to remind you. Okay, so um, my hope and wish and dream was that you would be here and that we could actually, I mean, I really just wanted to talk to some of these points. I wasn't going to read each of these things line by line. You know, you are supposed to kind of know all of this before you sign up with SACE. I mean, they don't test you on it, but the expectations that you know your rights are, the learner's rights are, etc. And I really wanted to just get into some of the nitty-gritty, like, have you seen any of this at school? I've seen this at 3 schools. Like seen like people dating, like Afrikaans teacher dating twins in matric, that kind of nonsense. Um, so I want to get like that was my hope to have like a little bit of a fun discussion around some of this. But without you here, it's not so much of fun. So, my plan B, so I wasn't gonna read through all of it. I mean, it's all really good to know. You must know your rights going into school and what the learners' rights are and parents. Um, so I've put together some slides as well, which I'll just run through briefly now, because again, you're not here. I don't want this to be a long recording, but I will share this all on ARC. Then I have a few other yeah. I feel like I did too much today for no reason. Then I did a little mind map for you as well. If you don't want to read the entire document, which I thought would be quite useful, just like a nice summary of, it looks like a lot, but it's like quite short, just of the SACE document and all the regulations in the SACE document. And then there's one question which comes from your module, which is not just to, oh, wait, not just to kind of know what's in the SACE document, but can you engage with the kind of the theoretical, what is the theoretical underpinning of the SACE document? So what is this all based on? Maybe while I'm here, let me start here. I'll do a quick overview. So there's a few influences. So deontological rights, rights-based theory, and communitarian ideals. So the idea with the SACE document is the first one is quite straightforward. Deontology means, so kind of focus on duty, like duty-based. Okay. And that kind of speaks to the teacher. So the teacher has specific duties and roles. And that is, like it says here, this is evident through the document which outlines behavior that must be done and stuff that mustn't be done. But in overall, what it speaks to is the duty is a noble calling. It speaks to some of the prohibitions and some of the procedural duties. So all of these are why it's got this influence. Then the other influence is that it's based on rights-based, and it's particular South Africa's constitution, Bill of Rights, etc. So lots of the state's document speaks to upholding constitutional human rights, learner-centered rights, learner-centric, and then procedural justice. Obviously, you can go read the detail if you'd like to, an explanation. And then lastly, the communitarian philosophy. And it's kind of basically saying that there are a lot of strong communitarian assumptions. So if you look at this and you look at task 2, which asks you, it's kind of a bit of a, I mean, I would reference SACE in my task also, like how SACE says that the role of the teacher of education this code of ethics is based on not one. Where is task two? I just had it open now. Okay. So task two asks you about, so who really is in charge, who should be in charge of a school. So the view of SACE is all of them. And I guess you could kind of use that as an argument as well, because it speaks to issues of partnerships in education. This is a recurring theme between parents, the school body, learners. It speaks about service to the community as an important aspect, and then the professional community is an important aspect. And then lastly, it speaks to corrective justice. And this is when they come all the stuff around how you'll be punished, procedural stuff. So that's the underpinning, a theoretical underpinning of SACE. And I will share this with you. I mean, it's, yeah, really just my own notes. So it doesn't come from anywhere. So please don't quote me and say Morgan said in Morgan's notes. Okay, anything, you can't reference my notes in any assignment. You have to go do the work yourself. I'm just giving you some high level. Okay. Let me just check how am I doing for time. I don't want this to be long because then people don't listen. Okay, cool. So I'll share all those resources with you. So just very, very broadly, what ISA is all about. So the dignity and status of the teaching profession, quality education, democratic rights, and ethical standards. So everything we just kind of spoke about now in another roundabout way. Okay, it summarizes kind of the roles of learners, and this goes both ways. You'll see in SACE. So it's not just about protecting the learner, but also educators do have rights in this space. And I mean, and the examples of this are not just the extreme examples, of like abuse and harassment. And I mean, you can look at ensure learners' safety and responsibility. So this is a fun one to use in your task as well, where SACE kind of mandates South African educators to be responsible for safety as well. So that's a fun little thing you could include. Then the relationship between educator and the parents. Again, if you go back to your task two, this is all kind of fun stuff to incorporate. That SACE actually recognizes parents as partners. And not just, although this is the example, transparent communication on learner progress is not just about, that's not the be all of the relationship. It's not just you only see parents on parent-teacher evening. Okay. And I like this example. I thought it was fun. So this isn't all, this is just like a summary. Please, please, please. You saw it 16 pages. Avoid bribery or unethical influence. I don't know how common bribery is in schools. Do parents bribe teachers to give them their students good marks? I wonder. I mean, I know of angry parents that shout at teachers for good marks. I know of angry parents that insist their child must be on the first team so they can get a bursary in the next year or whatever the case is. So, but maybe that's unethical influence more than bribery. Yes, there is bribery. Educating the community. Oh man, that's such a fun example of this. Like a friend of mine that went to go teach in a very tough school in the Cape Flats a long time ago, and he would tell me stories about how parents, because they were so poor, parents would come to school, to kind of either beg for money, to try and sell a TV because they wanted money for drugs. Like this teacher, friend of mine in particular, he used to take a loaf of, I think, 2 loaves of bread to school every day for his class. Almost nothing on it, just something. He used to take a hair cutter, a hair machine to cut. He said the children's hair was always so filthy and dirty, we just cut it. So, crazy, the terms, that's kind of the one extreme of the educator and community relationship. It's not just like market days and that kind of stuff. And then this one I really like. I feel like this is for me one of the biggest challenges is just the educator and colleague relationships. I don't know what your experience has been now at teaching prac, but I'm sure if you were all here, and I hope when you come back, I might pick this up again because I'd really love to know like how you found it. Yeah, the staff room. Um, I know lots of schools they like keep the student teachers out of the staff room. You must sit somewhere else, kind of thing. And I find like that's such a weird. It's it's counter to this what they're saying now. Because how much you actually learn from that part of the school life. Anyway, and even stuff like professional competence and dignity that often gets challenged in a school environment, your HOD or a colleague. Um, I've had some really horrible times with that relationship. Okay, and then obviously, with the council itself, what is your responsibility to the council? Okay, and then, I mean, this is important for you to know, like what happens, and I think you should go and, I mean, I hope you don't do anything wrong, so maybe you don't actually ever need to know this. I hope not. Um, but what is what happens when something goes wrong? So I wonder where SACE was in this incident of this in our case study. Um, does SACE get involved? Because it talks about the state and the government or the department getting involved. I can't remember seeing SACE being involved in that article. So I mean that would be of interest also. But my PowerPoint just like died, just went away. Okay, but it's cool. I don't need it. Okay, so in short, that was like not what I intended, but that was my backup plan for tonight. I will post all of this on Arc with the recording. And yeah, if you have any questions, I do hope to see you all not next week, the week after. But these classes, it's not a public holiday or anything weird, is it? So that's next week is the holiday. So on the 1st. Okay. And then by then all iStars would have been due, and we can, like I said, just maybe follow up on any queries with regards to, well, even my Word documents all closed. I don't know where they all went to. Okay, my computer's saying good night. Okay, everybody, let me not keep you much longer. Thank you for listening until the end. And like I said, we will talk soon. All the best with your last week at school. Thanks. Okay, Lauren, recording stopped.